What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. Welcome to my Week 11 Waiver Wire Pickups video. What did we learn this past week in the NFL? We learned that the Packers and Seahawks are beatable at home. We learned that the Patriots always find a way to win the game. And we also learned that the Texans are remembering how to tackle and how to play defense. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my VIP waiver wire list. You can click here if you're on a computer or go follow the link below. You'll get the waivers sent straight to your inbox 12 hours before this video does. And by the way, it's completely free to sign up. You can feel free to drop Victor, Cruz, and Julian Edelman in leagues. The only reason you'd hold on to Julian Edelman is if it was a keeper league. In this video, I'm going to go over the waivers, answer the question of the week in our hashtag AskTheBrain segment, and at the end I have a question for you where we'll be doing another giveaway, so make sure you stay tuned. This is the last bye week in the NFL this season. The 4 teams on bye this week are the Browns, Giants, Saints, and Steelers. There were some great waiver wire pickups mentioned in the previous videos. I won't dwell too much on them. I'll focus more on the new waiver wire pickups. And this week, atop of my waiver wire pickups list is quarterback Tony Romo. He's expected to start week 11. Mariota is a high-risk quarterback but has a good matchup going against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Keep tabs on Sam Bradford's injury. Mark Sanchez is not a great quarterback, but he was okay. He's decent in fantasy. Again, that's more like a QB2, but hey, if you're hurting for a quarterback, you got Breeze or Eli Manning, and you really need a QB, you can do far worse than Sanchez. Brock Osweiler, the 6'8" quarterback, is a sneaky start for week 11, has a decent matchup going against the Bears. Make sure you keep tabs on Emmanuel Sanders' injury. I don't think it's too major, but keep tabs on that. Johnny Manziel's been named the starter for the remainder of the season. He's on a bye, so you probably don't want to pick him up this week, but he's another option in deeper leagues and really good in dual quarterback leagues as well. For running backs, Jay Ajayi should be picked up in just about every league, especially in a 12-man league and probably a 10-man league as well. Darren Sproles, a really good pickup in PPR leagues. Make sure you monitor the status of Ryan Matthews. He had a concussion, so he's going through the concussion protocol this week. The best insurance policy to take out mid-season is going to be Thomas Rawls. Even if you don't own Lynch, he's still going to be a pickup that you need to consider, especially because RBs are so scarce. Also look for Andre Ellington in deep leagues. And in deeper leagues, TJ Yeldon suffered a minor injury. He's expected to play this Thursday in the Thursday night game. And if you kind of want a stash, you're in a really deep league, 16-man league or deeper, look at Stephen Ridley. Chances are if you're in a league that deep, you already considered picking up Stephen Ridley. For wide receivers, Brandon LaFell is the top of my list. I like him more than Danny Amendola, but it's really close. And one of the biggest factors that's going to determine whether you want to pick up one or the other is if it's non-PPR or PPR. We assume LaFell's going to be the non-PPR guy, score more touchdowns, and Amendola is kind of going to fill in for the Edelman role and catch shorter passes. Now, I don't know what the Patriots are going to do exactly. That's what's supposed to happen, and that's what makes the Patriots offense so good. The other team doesn't really know what's up either. But those two guys are at the top of my list. If I had either one, I'd be pretty happy if I needed a wide receiver. Vincent Jackson, boom or bust, high risk, whatever you want to label him. He's available in a lot of leagues. Should be returning really soon from his injury. Dontrell Inman. Now this is a really good pickup if you're in a deep league or really need a wide receiver. Malcolm Floyd, we don't know his status, so you want to monitor his status. If Floyd is playing, Inman is very little value. If Floyd is out, which he might be out the rest of the season, Inman's value skyrockets. And other options are Doug Baldwin, Leonard Hankerson, Wes Welker, Dorial Green-Beckham, a lot of upside there. Justin Hunter is on IR, also Harry Douglas. And make sure you monitor the status of Allen Hurns. Now, if Allen Hurns is out, misses the remainder of the season, he wants to play. He's expected to play this week. But look at Marquise Lee. For tight ends, there's a lot of quantity on this list and not a lot of quality, but there's still some really good pickups here, like Crockett Gilmore. Should be owned in just about every league. Eric Ebron, I see him having a good game. He's facing the Raiders. He's been really good this year, actually. If you look at it, he didn't do too well in week 10, but he's been pretty good. Julius Thomas, I see him having a big game for week 11. Charles Clay is okay. Not really a big play guy, but I think he has a good matchup. I think the Bills are going to have to throw the ball, and Charles Clay is one of the main receivers over there in Buffalo. Now, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, if this guy can come back and play and remain healthy, that's going to be a good stash on your team, especially if you have an IR spot, because he'll get that out designation, he'll be IR eligible, you'll be able to put him there. Now you got Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Jordan Reed, and Julius Thomas. Those three tight ends are the highest injury risks for that position. So watch out for those guys. And hey, I mean, that's what Sports Injury Updater told us before the season started, and they've been pretty accurate when it comes to those three guys. For deeper leagues, we have Jacob Tamme, Richard Rodgers, Zach Ertz, Garrett Selleck. Definitely don't want to start him this week, but you know, good tight end too in a deep league. Clive Walford and Scott Chandler. For defenses, there's a few really good defenses that you'll be really happy to have this week, like Seattle Seahawks defense, for example. But man, other than that, other than those top defenses, the obvious guys, it's really slim pickings. You have a lot of mediocre ones. The ones on this list aren't bad. They're just so far away from the top echelon ones, the obvious names. The top of my list is the Eagles defense. They're probably owned in your league, but in some leagues they're available. They have a great matchup against the Bucs. Even if Vincent Jackson and or Austin Seferian-Jenkins do play, they could be limited or banged up and not at 100%. Just not playing like themselves, so that's a great matchup right there for them. The Ravens defense got a lot of hype this week playing against the Rams. They didn't put up a great performance last week. They also have Case Keenum starting. Nick Foles is benched. You go with the Titans or Jaguars. I think since Justin Hunter is out and if Kendall Wright is also out, this will boost the value for this week for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I really like the Chiefs defense this week going against a banged up Chargers team. And it starts to get a little bit more slim pickings and high risk here. You got the Cowboys defense, mediocre pick there. Bears defense, very high risk going against the Broncos. The same thing with the Bucs defense. That's a really high risk D right there. You're hoping that Mark Sanchez throws a few picks, and you know, that's really what you're banking on. The Texans D doesn't really get much more boom or bust than the Texans D. Right now they're on fire, but you never know with these guys. The 49ers defense is really sneaky. They're playing against Russell Wilson, the most sacked quarterback by far in the league. They're not ranked as my top 15 defense going into this week, but that's a sleeper pick that I think that they might be able to sneak in there into the top 15. And in deeper leagues, you can look at the Falcons D or the Raiders D. For kickers, I like Matt Bryant, Zerline, Gano, Bailey, and Santos. If you guys want your question answered on the next video, make sure you get it in by Tuesday and use hashtag AskTheBrain. Javier asks, would you start Latavius Murray or Demaryius Thomas for the wide receiver / running back spot going into week 11, standard league? Even though Demaryius Thomas has lots of upside, he also has a ton of downside. There's a lot of risk involved in this. If the Bears can tackle him as soon as he catches the ball, he's going to be a risky start. Yeah, he has upside, but you have to go with Latavius Murray this week. As long as he's playing, he's in my lineup. Shout out to the winner last week. LeGarrette Blount got exactly 15.7 fantasy points in PPR leagues. He nailed it. This week we'll be giving out stickers and sunglasses. And the question is, what are your thoughts on Andy Dalton? So leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Red Rifle or Red Ryder BB gun, whichever. The comment that I like the most, whether it be funny or thought-provoking, hey, I never thought of that. The comment I like the most will win the prize. It's crazy how different the 49er team is from just last year. If you want to take a trip down memory lane, make sure you watch my music video, 49er Flag High. Also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be doing the weekly waiver wire videos and, of course, the weekly DFS NFL picks. Follow Fantasy Couch on social media @Fantasy Couch, and I'll see you guys on the next video.